Thank you. I'm honored to have the opportunity to speak with you all today. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person. The United States and Guatemala have a long history of strong economic, trade, and security cooperation. As strong partners, we share common values centered around democracy and defending those institutions. As strong partners, we must work together to ensure the security and prosperity of the Western Hemisphere that we all call our shared neighborhood. The neighborhood watch concept is one that most of us are familiar with. A group of neighbors works together to combat crime and promote safety by being vigilant in reporting suspicious activity and maintaining consistent communication with law enforcement and each other. It's time the United States and our Western Hemisphere partners, particularly Guatemala, adopt this simple model. This only works if it's a collective effort. It requires all invested parties to commit and participate actively. The United States, Guatemala, and our allies are facing unprecedented threats from highly sophisticated adversaries seeking to weaken our alliances, undermine our way of life, and deteriorate our readiness. Over the last 20 years, the U.S. has had to shift its focus away from our own hemisphere as we focused on the rise of terrorism in the Middle East. While we looked away, our shared adversaries made inroads throughout the Western Hemisphere in a clear effort to exploit our region. These adversaries are sending a clear message that they intend to extend their influence and control over nations globally. Many resource-dense parts of the Western Hemisphere provide several strategic benefits for Beijing and its ultimate pursuit of global dominance. We see this in the CCP's exploitation of the CARICOM region, for example. I've traveled throughout the Western Hemisphere extensively since 2017. In my many conversations with these countries' leaders, they've made it clear that the U.S. and other hemispheric partners are their preferred partners. However, China shows up offering false hope through predatory investments, untrustworthy infrastructure developments, and deals on the spot. Because the CCP can operate in an exceedingly nimble manner, empowering its officials to write checks before even getting up from the negotiating table, many country leaders are put in a position where they seize what appears to be an immediate economic benefit before evaluating risks or alternative possibilities. In South American countries, CCP state-owned companies have been immersed in extensive construction of critical infrastructure. This is a CCP strategy to counter the nations of the free world and extend its control into the Western Hemisphere. To protect our country's shared national and economic security interests, we must work together to engage our neighbors in the hemisphere and provide them with concrete gestures of friendship and partnership. The Trump administration is already taking action to curb and counter the CCP influence in the most unassuming of places. More U.S. companies must take advantage of the investment opportunities in the Western Hemisphere region. I continue to work on solutions to encourage more U.S. companies to engage in the region. This way, our neighbors will not be reliant on the CCP's nefarious and predatory partnerships. Notably, earlier this year, United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced the increased U.S. partnership with Guatemala to advance future infrastructure projects. This includes establishing a framework for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to work together with your government to update and expand port facility infrastructure and position Guatemala as a regional hub for trade and commerce for the future. With this increased partnership, the U.S. will support the improvement of key transportation infrastructure here, which will increase economic stability and grow Guatemala's role in global logistics. By partnering with our allies in the Western Hemisphere, we can counter the growing CCP influence. The CCP is playing the long game, and together we must focus on long-term results as well. The growing influence and investment on our Western Hemisphere neighborhood make it clear we are all in this fight together. A whole of hemisphere approach is necessary to combat the CCP's growing aggression. The U.S. and its partners can and will win in peer-to-peer competition if we act in swift and unified manner. The U.S., Guatemala, and other regional partners have an opportunity to win economically and introduce those eager to engage our neighbor countries to a model of economic engagement that serves their own needs to grow and thrive while addressing individual strategic national security interests as well. What I know is this: the United States, Guatemala, and our Western Hemisphere neighbors have far too much at stake and far too much to lose than to sit by and do nothing. Again, I want to thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the summit. Thank you.